Hey everyone, welcome back to Ant Lab Games. So we are on our final encounter for Assault on Doomrock. We are actually assaulting Doomrock at this stage and fighting a tentacle monster. So this stage, you've seen the setup, you know what we gotta do. We are just gonna get down to business and kind of rip through this fight. I'm gonna move quickly and try to wrap this video up in a reasonable amount of time, hopefully. And see if we can take out the tentacle monster to win the game. If both of my heroes die, we lose. So, let us begin. Alright, so at the start of the roll phase, based on the encounter card, the monster gets 4 shields. So he has 4 shields, 16 armor. So he's got 20. I have to do 20 damage to him to just go flat. 21 to actually hurt him. He's only got 5 hit points. But I'm assuming that's because they don't want you to attack the monster's head, they want you to attack his tentacles. So for every tentacle I kill, he loses 1 hit point. The tentacles have 6 hit points each, 2 armor, and they start with 1 shield. So I will put a shield on each of them as well. And we can begin the roll phase. Alright, so we have our commander. Let's see what we want to do. Well, I know I want to get a shield, that's for sure, at least for starters. I'd like a rush in, that won't be so bad. I'm going to keep a 6, well I don't assign them yet. So I'm going to keep a 6, I'm going to keep a 4, a 2 and a 1, I'll roll these guys. Another 4 and a 2, I'll roll them one more time. 3 and a 2, alright, so we'll keep the 3, and this 2 I will turn into a 1. I'm going to use my 4 shield anytime, and once during the roll phase, I may rotate that to a shield. So I have now got 3 shield tokens. I've got a 6, which I can use on Whiplash, a command, a rush in, and a maneuver. And now for our bard. Let's see what we got. Alright, so we're going to get a maneuver. We'll keep... Do we want a 5? I don't think I want a 5. Do I want a 2? No 2s. I'll keep the 1. And I will roll again. I think we want 6s here. Oh, that was a 1, I thought. 1 and a 3, yeah. 2 6s. I don't want the 5, and I don't want the 3, so we will roll these again. We had another 6 and another 3. So I will assign that to maneuver. I will put a 6 on barrage, 2 6s on fan of knives. This 3, I guess I'll do another maneuver, and then a shield. So she has 2 shield tokens. And that is her roll. So now let us see if we want to do any initiative moves. Okay, so for starters, I am going to use rush in with my commander, and my commander is going to rush into these guys, and that is going to give them each an exposed token, and I'm going to exhaust her Omega armor to ignore the 1 exhaust I would take for becoming adjacent to my enemies. I'm also going to exhaust my Amulet of Hatred and put another exposed token on this guy here. And that's going to be my initiative move. And that's it, just that. Okay, so let's start our activations. And I think we're going to go and activate... Might as well activate this guy. What the hell? And we flip. Alright, so this AI deck has green and red sections, top and bottom. So the top section is going to be for the minions, or the tentacles in this instance. And the bottom, the red, is going to be for the monster or the head. So since we're activating the tentacles first, and in this encounter, the monster doesn't go, or doesn't get their activation until after all of the hero actions. instead of after the minions. So not the minions and then the heroes and then the monster. That's how this is going to go. So let's begin. So unless engaged, now we're doing him. He's engaged. He would move to me. Now he's going to deal 2 damage to my adjacent hero. So he's going to hit me. I'm going to reveal my expose, so it's blank. And now I'm going to have to take 2 damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of my 3 shield tokens to negate. So no damage goes through. Then, unless the monster is engaged, and that would be the monster, not the tentacle, move the highest adjacent threat and this tentacle to the monster. So he's pulling, so that's how this thing works. It pulls in my heroes to the monster to bite it, I guess. So that's my first activation. We'll go to second activation and we'll activate this guy here. And let me put a marker on him. And we'll draw the next card, and we get each hero gains X expose, where X equals enrage. Now, enrage is something new, and we basically put a timer token on the encounter, and for each, basically every round you get more engaged. You know, it goes up, and then it gets harder and harder as the fight goes along. So we need to end this as quickly as possible, basically, which I'd want to do anyway. So actually there are no engages, so it's 0. Then spawn X tentacles in an empty group where X equals the number of tentacles in play missing from the setup. So had we killed a tentacle, he would spawn one. We haven't done that yet, so nothing's gonna happen. So this is actually a very good card for us. So second activation for the commander was uneventful, so that's good. All right, so now we are going to activate. We'll activate this tentacle. Now there's only 4 of them, so I can activate those 2, and then that one. So this should be pretty easy to keep track of. So we'll activate that one, and we get, unless engaged, move to the active hero. So it's going to move over to my bard, deal 2 damage to the adjacent hero. She flips, she gets a push. I will have to take 2 damage, so I've got 2 shields to block that, but she's going to get pushed to the donkey, because he is the lowest unoccupied terrain, which is good. I don't mind being next to the donkey or the mule. Then unless the monster is engaged, move the highest adjacent threat in this tentacle to the monster. Well, since this tentacle pushed me, I'm no longer adjacent, and actually the monster is engaged anyway, so it wouldn't grab me, it wouldn't move me anyway. So that's activation 1. Now we'll activate the second tentacle and move to the active hero. So he's going to come down here now and deal 2 damage to the adjacent hero. So I don't have any more shields, so I'm going to have to take the full 2 damage this time. So that was not good. If the active hero spends 3 heroism and removes an adjacent terrain from play, I can reduce the monster's health by 1. So basically, if I had heroism, I could feed the terrain to the monster and hurt it. Unfortunately, I don't have any heroism, so that's that. That ends monster activation. So now the heroes get to take an action. So let's attack. All right. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to target those 2 this combat round. So first off, I'm going to use the command ability from the commander to give 1 heroism to my bard. My bard is going to use both of her movement tokens to gain 2 additional heroism. So now she has 3 heroism. And then she is going to trigger the Fan of Knives. So the Fan of Knives deals 2 damage to each exposed enemy. So 2 damage to each exposed enemy. Think about that, right? That's crazy. So 2 damage to each exposed enemy is going to be both of these guys. And she's going to use her Bow of Doom to add 1 additional damage to this one. And she's going to use all 3 of her heroisms. So that's technically going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to each. Well, 5 damage to him, 6 damage to him. So 6 minus a shield is 5. 5 damage, blank, plus 1 is 6. Minus 2 armor is 4, so 4 damage is going to go through. 2, 4. So we hurt that tentacle pretty good on that attack. And now we have another attack going here, remember? So we've got 5 damage, 4 with the shield, 5. 5 is going to go through. 1, 2. Oh, minus 2 is 3, so it's 1, 2, 3 damage. Okay, so it's 1 less than what I did. That's because of the bow. All right, so that's good. That was actually quite good. So I want to hit them again. I'd love to. 1, 2. The problem is I don't have enough. Attack dealing 3 damage to a distant character. Alright, so I'm going to use the boomerang axical. And if I exhaust this, it'll let me do 3 damage to a distant character. And then it gets unequipped. And then it goes over to my other character used. So 3 damage, only 1's going to go through because of the 2 armor. Did I want to hit him or should I have hit him? I should probably have hit him. Bang. Right? Because it's 3 damage. And what else do I want to do here? So, alright, I'll do this. I'm going to use a maneuver to gain 1 heroism. And I'm going to use whiplash, and it will do 2 damage, ignoring 1 armor. So 2 damage, ignoring 1 armor, means 1 damage goes through and he's dead. So he dies, and this guy loses, his hit points are reduced by 1, so this goes away. And I don't think the shields can block that because I'm not hitting him directly. So we knocked him down 1, so he's still adjacent to the monster. Or she's still adjacent to the monster, but that's that. I've got 1 more move, which is Barrage, that I can't use because I've got I can't use it while I'm engaged, so she's stuck there. But that's that, and I think we're gonna have to end it. So that's my round. Let me see if there's anything else I can do here. No, all my items are pretty much exhausted, so I think I'm done. Alright, so I'm going to put all my items back to the ready. And that wasn't such a bad round, I don't think. And we remove our shields. Now, they remove shields too. So basically, I guess we're going to have to take the shields off the monster. Alright, so at the end of every round, right, so shields come off of everything. But what this thing says, when the monster stops being shielded, it pushes all adjacent characters. So I'm assuming it's going to, because the shield's going to come off at the end of the round, so it's going to push whoever's next to it. And he would go, or she would go to the trap. I would think. I mean, is that how this works? Or does the shields just stay on? I'm thinking it probably stays on, so if you bang the shields off and try to go direct down him, he's just going to push you. Because it wouldn't make much sense otherwise. I'm going to have to keep taking them off, putting them back on. So I'm going to leave the shields on. I think that makes sense. But these guys are going to lose their shields, because that comes off. I guess they just started shielded. They must have. And now they're ready. So I think that's it. We're going to get into the roll phase. No, actually, sorry, we got to get into the monster phase. The monster gets his attack now. This is going to get ugly. All right, let us do the boss activation. So here we go. So we get Enrage +1. So we are going to add a timer token. So now we're at Enrage level 1. And he's going to deal 2 plus Enrage, which would be 1 damage to the highest adjacent threat. So that's 2 plus 1 damage. 3 damage. Ooh, that's not gonna be good. So I used up all of my shielding, so she's gonna take the full 3 damage. That was a brutal attack. So my commander's gonna get whacked. So that's the boss activation. So that wasn't cool at all. Alright. Alright, we're rolling it up. I don't really think I'm going to last very long this game. Oh, boy. So let us see. I don't know if I want to use that. I wouldn't mind using Paralyze, actually. Can't use it on the boss, though. That's the problem. So we'll take that 3. We'll take that 1. Can't rush in. I don't want to use Shatter. Nope. So I'll take a 3. That might actually be bad. I'll take a Shatter. What is this, 2? I'm going to turn it into a 1 with my shield ability and get 2 shields again. Alright. And our Bard, what do we got? 2 shields, Fan of Knives, Headbang, might not be a bad idea. Let's see what we got here. 3 for Maneuver, do I want the Maneuver? Yeah, that might not be bad. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to do Fan of Knives, I might do Barrage this time. So if I got a Maneuver, I got a Headbang, yeah, I'll do that. So I'll go a Solo, a Barrage, a Maneuver, and a Headbang, and 2 shields. That's what we're going to do. Alright, so there are 1, 2, there's only 3 of them left, so that's not too bad. So what she'll do is activate this one here, I think. Let's see what happens. Unless engaged, move to the lowest threat. Oh, to the Bard. Deal 1 damage to the adjacent lowest threat, and then if that hero is not engaged with the monster, move him to the highest threat not engaged to this tentacle. If targeted, lowest threat was moved, deal 1 damage to target highest threat. Well, that's a whole lot of text there. Hold on. Deal 1 damage to the lowest threat. So I'm just going to use a shield and block that, right? Then, if the hero is not engaged with the monster, if that hero is not engaged with the monster, move him to the highest threat not engaged to this tentacle. So I'm going to move him to that. If targeted lowest threat was moved, deal 1 damage to target highest threat. Oh, that's a throw, so it threw me. I get it. I'll have to use a shield to block that. I gotcha. So it threw me at him. That makes sense. So that activation's done. These guys are both adjacent to the mule. So we're going to activate, let's activate this one now. Remember, this is my commander doing the activation. So unless engaged, move to the active hero. So it's coming up here. Deal 1 damage to each adjacent hero. So they each have a shield that they will use. And steal 1 die from each adjacent hero. Well, that wasn't cool. Okay, so I'm going to take my Shatter. And I guess we'll take... Headbang? Yeah, we'll get rid of Headbang. So he stole 2 of my dice. That was a crappy move. Alright, so final activation is this guy. I gotta shuffle these up real quick. And the Bard is going to do the activation. So we get, unless engaged, move to the active hero. So it's to the Bard now. And now we're surrounded. Deal 1 damage to each adjacent hero. They're each going to take a damage. Steal 1 die from each adjacent hero. So we'll steal I guess we'll steal our Maneuver and our Barrage, because I'm engaged. I won't be able to use it. And that's that. Now my heroes get to attack, and they don't have much to do here. Alright, so we're going to start this out with my Bard using Maneuver to get Heroism, and then using a charged Heroism solo. And that's going to deal 2 damage to a character target that gains 1 exposed before or after the attack. Well, it's going to gain 2 exposed. So she's going to deal 2 damage to him, but he's going to get 2 exposed tokens on him, right? So let's look at the exposed. It's a blank and a blank. Oh, lucky. 2 damage is negated. So that was a waste of an attack. Alright, great. That's good. Because the 2 armor absorbed it. I'm going to use the Commander's Maneuver for a heroism. And then I'm going to use a Charged Whiplash, which is going to deal 2 damage to 2 characters ignoring 1 armor. So it's going to do 1 damage each. Bang. Bang. So at least that went through. Dealing 3 damage to a distant character. So I can use my boomerang, axical, and give it back to the bard, and hit this guy for 1. Because 2 gets absorbed. And I think that's it. So we are going to end our turn. That's really terrible. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. Let's move on. Alright, so we are doing the monster activation. Enrage +1. Alright, so he's getting angrier. Deal 2 + 2, so 4 damage to the highest adjacent threat. So that is going to kill my commander. And she is out of the game. All that's left is my bard. Not good. Alright, we've got nothing left but to roll for the bard. And hope for the best. Now we know we're not going to be able to... That's a 4, not a 5. We know we're not going to be able to use the fan of the barrage, but we can use the fan of knives. It's a 3. But the problem with that is... Nah, you know what? I'm gonna leave that. Roll that one more time. Alright, so 2 shields. I'm going to do 2 solos. Headbang and maneuver with 2 shields. And maybe we'll survive another round. Alright, we might as well start by activating... I guess we'll activate him. And it says, unless engaged, move to the active hero, deal 2 damage to each adjacent hero. So I'll use these 2 shields, and then unless the monster is engaged with the highest adjacent threat to the monster. Alright, so we're already there, so that's him. Now we'll do him. Move to the active hero, deal 2 damage to each adjacent hero. We're going to have to take 2 damage. I could spend 3 heroism to do that whole feeding thing, but I can't because I don't have any. So that's that. That's all the activations I need to do. Just 2. Because the other hero is dead. So now she gets to go. We're going to use maneuver to gain a heroism. And with that heroism, I'm going to use a solo. And that's going to give a 2 exposed 2 damage to this guy. And so that's going to hit him. Refresh this. 2 damage is not going to hurt him, but he's going to get pushed to this trap, and that's going to actually lock him down. No, it affects only heroes, so he actually doesn't get locked down. He just moves next to it. So she pushed that tentacle off, and I'll have to reshuffle those. But her next move will be another solo, which will hit him. And I'll leave the expose on after, so she's going to miss the first attack's not going to hurt him, and then she's going to do a headbang, and that's going to deal 2 damage to the adjacent character. And we'll see, that's another push. So 2 damage is going to absorb in his armor, and he's going to get pushed down to there. So she did no damage. She's got 1 hit point left, and the monster goes. Enrage +1, another time token. Deal 2 + 3 is 5 damage to the highest adjacent threat. So she is dead. And that ends our adventure. So, although I thought we were ready for this, it proved to be a lot harder than expected. But if you haven't noticed by now, this game is brutally hard. I don't know why they made it so hard, but it is hard. So it's combat's cool in a sense that it's different, but it is just relentless. Like, you only get 6 health, and you know they're pretty stingy with shields, so it's not like you got that. But I don't know if I could have gotten through that as it was. I don't know. So there's probably a couple things I could have done better, but I still don't know. I mean, we had a couple of bad rounds there, but in any case, I think you get the gist. I mean, it's a playthrough, right? So you learn how the game plays, and usually at this point, by the time I put out the 6th video in the series, you know, the viewing numbers taper off because a lot of folks don't really want to watch the whole thing. They get, you know, but after the first few videos, they have a pretty good idea of how, you know, how the game plays and whether or not they're going to like it enough to bother. And if they like it a lot, they're probably going to go out and get it and not worry about watching the rest of the video. So for those of you who stuck around, you know, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I hope it wasn't too much of a letdown, but you got to see, you know, how the boss battles work, and you can see how that enrage just jacks up the difficulty. It's not even necessary, to be honest, but I guess that's so you don't slow play the final battle. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the final video, and I hope you enjoyed the whole series for Doomrock Doompocalypse. And I will see you next time. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.